for sale the day before the show. Can you believe it? What did you buy?
Wait. Oh, okay.
Wait, who are you?
Dwight
K. Too late. All right, tell us what you got.
I got 3 Mandalorians for $6, 3 droids for $5, and Savaggio Press for $2.
Nice. Look. So here it is, guys. I'm selling at my 3rd show in about 6 years. This is the K-Town Collectibles Toy and Retro Game Expo. This is right before the doors opened up Sunday morning. My table setup is the biggest I've ever had, and I was ready. And I got put next to 2 pretty cool guys that had a lot of those new retro toys. Here we go with the doors open. Now, I didn't get to check a lot of the tables because I was on my own for some of the day. Like, I did have family and friends come in to give me a quick break here and there. There's my sister and brother-in-law coming in to look around. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool vintage, a lot of cool new things. I wish I got to walk around more, but at the same time, I was thinking, you know, I don't want to spend too much money. I want to see how much I could make. And I did fairly well. I was happy with the turnout, and again, I was happy with this setup that I had. I'm definitely ready for this show. Hey, Kingston Kong Jr. at the K-Town Collectibles show. What'd you buy so far, buddy? You gotta talk loud, child.
Oni bicycle.
Thank you. So it was a pretty good show. I do want to talk about it a little bit. I didn't get to record as much as I had anticipated that I would. I'm really thankful. My father, my brother, my mother, my fiance Dallas, my daughter, nieces and nephews. A lot of people showed up at the booth because, like I had said, like I was getting sick. I knew I was sick, and after setting up that Saturday night and then doing the show from essentially getting there at 8 in the morning till, you know, well after 5 after cleanup, I was pretty tired out. But, you know, I was really happy that everyone showed up. I got to go get, I was on coffee breaks. Everyone was bringing me coffees. I got to go for bathroom breaks. But my one thing I wanted to say, even though there was a bunch of things I saw that were awesome, I said, I'm not spending any money at the show. I'm not going to buy anything. I'm not going to use my profits to get anything, because I'm using most of the proceeds for Christmas gifts, and every year we go to the States for New Year's. So me, Dallas, the baby, and whichever of our sons, they're older now, so they don't usually come on trips with us, but if either of them are ever interested, you know, one or the two of them will come with us. So the money's gonna be put aside for that. And I saw that Toys R Us was gonna have the Jetfire, the War for Cybertron Siege series was the Jetfire was gonna be on sale, and Refractor. So in the back of my mind, I was like, I was gonna pick up one, maybe both of them. I was hoping. Anyway, like, it was a great show. It was a long day. Made a couple of new friends. So obviously the good was the monetary compensation for the day. I did pretty good. It wasn't my best show, but it was definitely top 3. I've only done 3 shows, but it was, I'd say, a solid number 2. It did better than the yard sale last year, the huge yard sale we had, and it was better than the small impromptu one that we did at the youth center about 4 or 5 years ago. So it was pretty good. One thing I noticed, everyone wanted to haggle, and that's fine because, you know, I haggle too when I go out. But I know what I spent for some of my items. So let's say it's right here. And then I had it marked up at about here. Everyone else was around there. I tried to keep my prices right here because I wanted to move everything. Everything that came to the show was for sale. I wanted it to go. And there was a lot of people haggling. And like I had mentioned, like, it was fine. But some people were very, very aggressive with their haggling. And it came from, I guess, like, the only 2 things that I didn't really enjoy about the show actually came from other sellers. Now, it's not all the sellers because, like I mentioned, I made a couple of new friends. There were some guys that were, we were on the stage in this, it was in the night, so it was in a hall. And, like, picture like a little theater. So we have the ground floor, and then there would be the stage, and we were able to fit 4 tables up there, so that's where I was set up. And those guys were awesome. They had a lot of Ghostbusters stuff, new and old. They had He-Man stuff, like a lot of the new retro toys, you know what I'm talking about? So they were cool. I got along with them. I talked horror movies with them. They actually bought a lot of stuff off of me. Anyway, I don't want this portion to be too long because I know you're probably like, come on, Ryan, come on, where the hell's all of the toys and the cool video games you got? We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. But one guy came in, he bundled all kinds of stuff. Like, I saw him across the way. He came from a table, introduced himself. I'm not gonna put anyone on blast with names or anything like that. But he started bundling things, and, you know, I was giving him good prices. Like, if I spent, well, I'll give you an example. Like, say, like, I spent $2 on an item, and I had it marked at $6, you know, and other tables would have it at 10 or 15, you know. Like, I was happy making the $3-4 off of it because, like I said, I wanted to sell everything. There was an end game. There was an end goal to my my motivation, my reasoning behind selling everything. So he would bundle everything together. Let's say the total was like $25. So I'd say, you know what, like, give me 20 for it. And then he'd sit there and hem and haw, and he's like, oh, can we do 12? Can we do 15? And he straight out said, he's like, some of this stuff's gonna go back on my table. So I told him, like, I'm leaving enough meat on the bones for you. And then he'd be like, well, I'll put this back, then I'll put this back. So he spent about $10 the first time. Then he'd come back and he's like, hey, I bought these two things, can I get that thing for $2? And, you know, like, I want to work with him. I was telling him, like, you know, like, if you bought a couple of things, I'd definitely do a deal with you, but you're, you know, he was trying to get the discount portion after making a big purchase without making the big purchase. So this guy was, all day he kept coming back. It made me feel pretty good because I had a good table, I had a pretty good spread, but at the same time, he was getting, like, very annoying. Like, he kept, like, really trying to get, like, things for nothing or things for less than, like, I was telling him, like, some things, I'm like, dude, I bought this for $7. I'm only asking 10, you know, like, I don't want to be one of those guys that say it's worth X amount on eBay or Amazon, but, you know, like, he, like I had mentioned, he said that he was going to sell them at his tables, and he was trying to get them less than what I spent, so kind of had to, like, shoo this guy away after a while. And then there was another guy right underneath the stage for me. I thought he was going to be cool. Looked like a poor man's Dave Bautista. Looked like Batista without the muscles. So he comes over, talking for a bit. Seems like a cool guy, and he kept grabbing things from the table. He's like, here, put this in the basket. I'm going to buy this later. Put this in a basket. So he grabbed handfuls of Star Wars guys. He bought, he grabbed the few of the He-Man stuff I had, the two cringers. He grabbed a couple of video games. All the battle trolls, you know, like little knickknacks, double dragon figures, like stuff that I had on the side. And, you know, it wasn't priced crazy. Like, I want to be honest with you. I want to be very transparent. I was not pricing crazy at all. I was make a couple of bucks on top of what I spent. So he puts everything together, and retail value, like the stickers that I had, was about $125 by the end of the day, because he kept coming back, you know, like he'd be there at 9 o'clock, 10:30, 11:30, even came, had a coffee, and he was talking hockey for a little bit. So we get this big basket, so he's like, can I get a bundle price on this, you know, like a fellow seller price? So I said, yeah, no problem. It was $125, and, you know, honestly, like, what I spent on it, it would probably be, you know, maybe I spent about $55 on this. So I told him, I'm like, you know what, 75. I was knocking off, like, what, like $50 off the sticker prices. And all of a sudden he's like, oh, I don't know if I made that much money today, and I gotta go talk to my wife and my partner. So he disappears from the table. So, like, now all day, these items were off my table that I could have been selling. They were in a basket, you know, like, under the assumption that he was gonna buy them from me. So at the end of the day, the two guys, big shout out to Will, Eric, and Mike. They were in charge of setting this up for the third K-Town Collectibles. They had said, you know, it's supposed to end at 4, but if it slows down, you can start closing up at 3:30. So I stayed open right till 4. I made sales, like, right to the wire. And I look over at this guy, and, like, poof, like, you know, some kind of, like, ninja vanish magic. He just totally disappeared on me. Like, I had even tried to wave him down at the end, like, are we gonna do this or what? And he just ghosted me. He took right off. So, you know, like, on top of me making a good deal and then him bitching about it, I wish I knew his name. I would put his ass on blast, this guy. But then he, like, took all that stuff. He took all this merchandise off my table for essentially the whole day. Luckily, I was able to sell a couple of the battle trolls and a few of the Dick Tracy characters at the end, because, like, once he disappeared, I just put the stuff back on the table at, like, 20 to 4. and a couple of things went, like a few bags of the G.I. Joes, and the Star Wars characters went too, so I did make a couple of bucks off it, but I was kind of upset. Oh, there was this too, the Ghostbusters projector. Like this I had found for $5, and I had it with a $35 price tag. You go online, it's like $50, $60. It works. I put new batteries in it. It's even got the laminate projector slide inside of it. Grabs that, puts that on the side. After everything was said and done, like I had people asking about Ghostbusters stuff. People had noticed it too, and they said, "Oh, like can I see that?" And I'm like, "Somebody's already reserved it." So, you know, like kind of essentially took sales out of my pocket. I don't know if he was just a cheap ass or if he did that on purpose at the end of the day. I don't know. Man, this 10 minutes of me rambling. If you've watched this whole thing, guys, you are awesome. Thank you very much. I'll show you the stuff that I bought, and remember, keep in mind, some parts I sound sick because I tried to be hardcore and record that same day after I got home and everything was done. I'm like, alright, let me record it, let me get it out of the way so I could edit it and show you guys. So in anticipation of setting up my table for the K-Town Retro Collectibles Expo, I love saying the whole thing, I bought a big lot of Transformers, and this is kind of like the bottom of the barrel of it. There was a lot of pieces in there. I spent $15, so of course there was a few I was going to keep, but a majority of them were going to be put on the table to be sold at the Expo.
I did keep from that Transformers lot. Most of them went back out, you know, the bags of the quote-unquote cheaper Transformers went out, and I'm guessing you can tell by now by the sound of my voice that I'm sick. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get to record when I picked it up. It was just, you know, getting everything ready for the show, trying to price things, trying to bag everything. So this is what's left of about the, I guess, 3 boxes worth of stuff that I found. So all of these Marvel mashups I found for $4 each. I put a $7 price tag on it. I sold the Hulk, the Wolverine, I think there was a Cyclops, there was a few, Green Goblin for sure, Super Skrull. There's about 4 or 5 of them that I did sell. Dr. Doom didn't go. Again, I had them priced at $7. There's that. Down in the comments, guys, if you can remember his name off the top of your head. I'm not going to stop and Google it. Remember, he turns into the helicopter in the tank. He's like a triple changer. This one I'm kind of glad that didn't sell. The Hot Rod, the Rodimus, because, you know, snap his arm back on. He comes with a chain. I put him on my Transformer shelf. And then this 64 Star Wars figures. I sold a few bags. There's a couple of bags that got put on the side all day at the show. I'm going to talk about that as one of the cons of the con that I didn't like. But this is just, I made my money back on them. This is Nightmare Before Christmas figures. But this was just bags and bags of Star Wars characters, all the way from 79 up to 2018. So there were 64 characters, and I wound up picking up a whole lot for $50. Made my money back on it. I was happy, you know, happy to do that. And then I started going over a little bit, remnants of more of the Halo guys. But yeah, it was just a bunch of Star Wars figures loose, and I started bagging them out. Like, look, these 3 characters, selling it for $6, and a lot of bags went.
So we went back to the thrift store in Chateauguay again to look for other video games that I could put on my table, and, you know, if there was anything that caught my eye, obviously I would keep it. It's nice to see some systems that aren't priced at $100, some retro systems. The last time I was in here, the Genesis was $90, a Master System was $75, but everything seems to be coming back down. Of course, we checked Value Village as well. Their prices are ridiculous. I might just do a whole video on, you know, they get their merchandise and their items for free, and now they're selling them at eBay prices. Like, the prices are very high. And, you know, $5 a game for this doesn't seem like it's a lot, but everything that's in their glass cases, and I don't want to sound like I'm complaining too much, I'm just saying, like, man, you get this stuff for free, you know, if you make a couple of bucks off them. But like I said, I digress. This could be a whole other video just about how the prices have been increasing, and they're going by internet value now, as opposed to, you know, let's make $5 or $6 off an item instead of trying to, like, hit a home run and make $40, $50 off of it.
And from those clips, I did wind up picking up the Super Nintendo and a couple of the games because it was their end of the month 10% off, plus you can use your 10% off card. So I really like this thrift store. I've mentioned before in videos that I try and get there twice a month, but it's always worth getting there at the end of the month before they do their big restock. Whatever they didn't sell at their normal prices, everything will get reduced. So I grabbed a Super Nintendo, came with the one controller and the wires, and then I picked up on the NES RC Pro-Am, pretty good game. Ghostbusters on the Master System, Mortal Kombat 2 on the Genesis, and for the third week in a row, I found Disney's Tailspin on the Genesis again. So normally I would have spent about, I guess, like $60 on this if I had picked it up at their prices, but with the double discounts, I know I paid under $50 for sure.
Now, I know I said I didn't want to spend any money at the show, and that wasn't my intention, but my cousin had come over and he wanted to sell 66 PlayStation 2 games and a Dreamcast with one controller and the wires. No memory card, but it also comes with a burnt disc of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So originally he wanted 100 and he kept coming down by 20s, and I had no intention of buying this. I didn't really want it, but finally we agreed on 40 and I took everything. And there's a few decent games in here that I do want to keep. Crazy Taxi, some of the Capcom compilations, the Sega Classic compilations, Taito, you know, pretty much any compilation. Crush Hour, BMX, Triple X. I'm even going to hang out to the Guitar Heroes. There was a couple of Silent Hills in here, a few Manhunts. I'm trying to think. Manhunt 1 and 2, a few Resident Evils, again, with the compilations, Mega Man X, Final Fight Streetwise. I think the first 3 Silent Hill, no, 2 Silent Hills. The first Silent Hill came out on PS1. There's 2 in there, and then there's just a bunch of games that I'm going to have to stick on the side for a while because I don't really know what I'm going to do with PS2 games, and I have a healthy size collection put away in the basement. And, you know, I was just, I guess, doing my cousin a favor. You know, it's not a horrible lot, and getting the Dreamcast for $40, it's pretty much pays for itself. But there was 3 games that were scratched beyond recognition. Streets, SSX3, and the Justice League games. Those are finished. We got a couple of other things here with empty cases. NHL 09, empty case. Sonic Mega Collection, empty case. And then there's one more. Oh, yes, over here. So I saw the Twilight Princess case. I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good one. Open it up, empty case. So, you know, if you have the disc lying around, Dio, send it my way. A couple of these, remember when you buy the magazines? I'm not sure if they still do it, but the electronic games and the PS2, PS3 magazines would give you free discs. There's a bunch of those, cheats and upcoming games. An AC/DC CD in there, a couple of extra loose games, those are scratched up too. This is what I was talking about, like the Insta cheats for the PS2. And then in here, I think there was a few more loose games. Yeah, Lego Batman and Destroy All Humans on the Xbox. I also found the instruction booklet for Nintendo 64 Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut. I'm gonna hang on to this. I wish the game were in there too, but you know, I'll hang on to this one. Somebody might want to trade it or need it to complete a very sought-after Sculptor's Cut. I picked up a Switch Lite. It's $255, $260 in Canada. I didn't buy a game though. You know, they're Nintendo games don't seem to go down. The games that were cheaper, like Bass Fishing and, well, LA Noire was pretty good. That was $22. That surprised me. But most of the Nintendo games, like the Zeldas and the Mario games, are still $79 here. So I just downloaded the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo Library app that we have, and I've been playing through that so far. But I'm enjoying it. Switch is cool. Pretty obviously, I did pick up the refractor, and I went with the special edition from the Siege series, and this comes with the light, the front of the camera that actually says refractor on it, and then the extra shutter, speed, button, handle, what have you. So if you were to buy the 3 figures to put them together, they run you $30 each here in Canada, so, you know, $90 plus tax, and you figure there's 3 smaller taxes on each of them. Or, for $99, you could get the set with the collector's box like this, so I opted to go with this. Jetfire was there, but I left him on the shelf. He was $120. He looked awesome, but there was only 1 refractor, and there's about 15 Jetfires, so I went with refractor, and I am not disappointed. I also picked up, this was from Walmart, refractor was from Toys R Us. We still have our Toys R Us here in Canada. Thank you very much. This is the Siege War for Cybertron, and this is Sprainer. Sprainer is one of those triple changers, so you get kind of like a car tankish mode, a helicopter, and of course robot mode. So he was the only one I've seen. I've seen him in the States a few times, but never here in Canada, at least not in the Quebec area where I live. So I picked him up. These are normally $40, and he was $32 at Walmart, so that's $2 more, and this is Voyager class, so I'm happy with that. He's going to go on the shelf with his brethren.
Here's the G1 reissues. So these were all on liquidation. These 2 guys were at the Saint Costa Walmart, and these 2 were at the Chateauguay Walmart. The reason I mention this is for local viewers, if you want to get out there and try your hand at picking up some of these. So the hot rods are $8 now. There's not many left. I picked up 1, and well, I picked up another one actually to keep in the box for myself, and I brought 1 to the show. I got a little ambitious and tried putting $25 on it. It did not sell. So I've got it sitting around somewhere in the box, but these are $8 at Saint Costa Walmart. And then the Optimus Prime finally came down again. It started at $60, I believe. Then it came down to $40, then it was hovering around $34. Now it's $27.99. So at $27.99, there was only 2 left. I grabbed 1. I said, you know, I'm going to keep it. I do have a few G1 Optimus of my own. But, you know, the windows are a little haggard. They're missing their hands. So it'll be nice to have this. Oh, I do have the full reissue too down there. But, you know, $22, $23. He's going to come out. He's going to stand on the shelf with his Transformer brethren. And then the mini ones, these guys are $7 a piece now. Normally about $12 or $13 here in Canada. But these are like part of the new, I guess, the latest wave, and they were on sale just like the rest of them. They had a few Bumblebees, Cliff Jumper, but I wanted to pick up Warpath. As far as I can remember, like I'm trying to really think about it, I think Warpath was my first Transformer that I ever picked up as a kid. And then Gears, very colorful, very cool. I never had him as a child, so I grabbed him as well. I can't recall if I showed this to you guys last time, so I'm going to show you again. So this is a Devastator from Age of Extinction. And, you know, the box looks very real, but this is a Japanese or Chinese knockoff. And you can tell by the coloring and the texture of the box. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but if you see it in real life, you can tell there's something off about the box. This is like the slick. This is like the Home at Sick diaries or something. I thought I was done filming the video, and I just got a message from my brother-in-law and my mother saying, oh, there's 4 yard sales here, and there's 2 yard sales here, and the mini flea market is open today. Like, this is a Sunday, and it's the last Sunday in September. We're going to be into October. It's getting colder, and there's not too many more days of this, and I don't want to go out. The baby doesn't want to go out. We're staying in. Like, And now it's gonna bug me in the back of my mind, like, what am I missing? What's there? But honestly, like, we're not fit to fight today, so we're just gonna stay in. That's how sick we are. We're not going flea marketing, we're not going yard selling.
The day I start to feel better, Arkham and Dallas both start to get sick, so I went out to find some supplies and I came across Soundwave G1 reissue. So these guys are $60 a pop, so I didn't buy both of them, obviously. I grabbed one, and you know, the box is so nice. I wanted to leave it in the box for a little while, but you know, I'm gonna open him up eventually. He's gonna go on the shelf. That's gonna do it for this episode, guys. Thanks again so much for listening to me ramble on about the show. Again, I have to mention, overall it was really fantastic. I had a great time. It's just those two little things really seem to irk me, and you know, apologies for being sick in some of the clips, but again, you know, I was just so gung-ho. I wanted to try and edit those videos, but I wound up doing an obscure, well, sort of obscure Toyline video, and that's up as well if you want to check that out. So until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. It was great having you in the game room again, and I'll see you in about a week. Take care, guys. Ooh, NHL's back on. Go Pens.